CD 包的面的单包是到时候里面上面干嘛的，什么接包接送都是各位一的，啥些就前面的，有两的新年的干嘛，啥些的，这个能打是嘛，这个我妈一那么不是人，那么的话，肯定是咋样的，我妈那不是那的，我妈不是那的，我妈不是那的，我妈不是那的，我妈不是那的。 明明这位这这这这位员工这个员工，管理给不是工作，不知道是因为这个这这这因为多嘛一种所谓的管理给不是。明明这位这这现在这个就没给我们讲，这个我一种是，而且给最近中高保国上特别上的所有的那边这个现在就没给我们这么样的个管理就是什么，而且给不是。罗上特别上的什么的，可能找我们自己那个地方，他们就是。但是找到我们的那个地方，就是说，反正就我们就是讲究你我话的这样话了，马上就没写到法律些，那些嘛可能比我你说说那里也是去话，就是要不要嘛上次这样这样到搞得怕了上个的不的说话，这样到搞得怕了上个的不的说话，这样到搞得怕了上个的不的说啊。我妈呀，讲上说妈呀，讲上说妈呀，讲上说。Okay. Originally, we had two groups going over to India and to France to obtain some very holy items. Where are they? Okay, so it inspired me to give an explanation of what a holy item is. So originally what I thought was I'll get together with the writers of KMP and a few close friends, and last week we did get together. We got together with a few writers and a few close friends, and we had a great meeting in a karaoke. Because we couldn't find a place that was open after 11. We originally went to Vientiane, and the people, the crowd, the heat, the rain, my impatience and my intolerance to the heat and my lack of practice and my tumo going overboard, we had to leave. And there was a few mosquitoes I added to the complaints, although there wasn't any because it makes it more dramatic. In any case, I'm trying to act like you guys, a first world country resident, although I'm from a third world country. So I thought I'll be a little sophisticated. So we had to move over to another place because there was no restaurant in all of Kuala Lumpur, Chara, Subang, Serdang, or Gombak, or anywhere nearby that's open past 11, or if we're lucky 12, that's indoor and air conditioned. So that has inspired me to beg someone to open a restaurant, donate it to me so we can have meetings there. Thank you. That's one. So we had to move over to a karaoke. So one of our friends booked the Bangsa KTT karaoke, the biggest room, I don't know, presidential suite or something. We all went over there. And the waiters never asked why we never sang one song. We didn't sing one. I mean, I do go and sing songs sometimes, but they never asked. They just gave us the peanuts, the drink, and left. And we had our meetings. Sometimes they came in to see if we were starting to sing any songs. But we didn't, and they didn't dare ask because we looked quite scary. And I wasn't the scariest looking one. There was someone on this side next to me, but I won't tell you who. It was very scary. Why? He looked very powerful, and like, don't ask. So in any case, we had a wonderful meeting, and we decided that we'll meet this week on Tuesday at 7 p.m. But we're in Malaysian, so it's 8 p.m. 7 p.m. to talk about the holy items so that the writers can write things up. Well, I'm sure the writers are in a slight shock right now because they thought it would be a cozy, nice little group. This is cozy and nice. So here we are, cozy and nice little group. So I thought instead of just sharing with the writers, and after I finish, the writers come in with me. I need to give them some extra information that won't concern any of you guys. So in any case, afterwards, I would like to go in with the writers to talk about some extra information. But I'd like to give you a talk. And tonight's talk would be about precious items. Precious items, precious items, and why? Oh, Lily, hi Lily. I thought you were Crystal for a minute. So now that I look better, no. I want to talk about holy items. You know, the Buddhist world has a lot of holy items, and they have pilgrimage places, and they have places where, you know, caves and relics, and they have malas and holy robes, and they have all these holy items. And all of us, you know, all of us have some sort of degree of respect for these holy items and relics. And we really don't know why. We don't know why we should respect them, or what we're supposed to do with them, or how they benefit us, or why they're holy, or who said so. You know, like why isn't my mala more holy than, you know, the Dalai Lamas? I mean, I'm going to explain why. I'm not challenging here. So what I'm trying to say is I want to go into that. So tonight's talk is going to be about holy items, why they're holy, and if we attain them, what should we do with them? And how do we keep them? How do they benefit us? And why should we attain them? And a lot of places, they use the holy items on display for blessings, for pilgrimage, and sometimes even for fundraising. And I'll tell you why that's allowed, or why that's permissible. Because with a lot of organizations around, and they do fundraisings and relics and all that stuff, we need to understand why, or we might be in a danger of having a slightly wrong view. So that's what I'm going to explain tonight. And then I have a few small announcements, and the liaison of Kichara House, Mr. TPK, also has a few announcements afterwards. And then it'll be a nice little evening, and we all pack off and go home. And isn't it wonderful? It's Tuesday, so we can stay a little late because we're very close to the weekend. That's right. And everybody knows if you join in Rinpoche's group, we never ever go home before 12 because we're all adults now. Okay? So if anybody complains that they're tired before 12, we'll have to change your diaper. And you wouldn't want us to do that. And you know who changes your diaper? Do you know who? Crystal. And Crystal can get a little violent with a rattle if you don't sit still while she's changing your diaper. She's a big, strong, powerful mama. Some of you don't know who Crystal is, but you will know soon. Crystal doesn't need to be heard, she's just heard. Whatever that means. Alright? And also, I'm going to talk about the forward that we got. And I have a little VCD here. No, we're not going to have movie time, so put your popcorn away. I have a VCD here to show you who His Holiness Ganden Rinpoche is, and who the abbot of Ganden Shatse Monastery is. So that you know exactly what they are. And I'm just going to play it for about 3-4 minutes. That's it. It's enough because it's all in Tibetan. You're not going to understand it anyways. And you know, it's Ganden Rinpoche and the Dalai Lama and the great Lamas masters asking me to sit on a big throne, and I'm like, oh, please, can I just have a chair? But we'll skip over that part because we've seen it, done it, and heard it. Don't you think so? That's right. Some of them are thinking, is this for real? There's 2 Dalai Lamas. There's one that's holy and enlightened and compassionate. That's the real one. And there's one that's in the figment of my imagination that's begging me to sit on a big throne. So there's 2. That one I advise you to ignore. That one can be cured with a schizophrenic medicine, I heard. Okay, now, what should we talk about first? I think they're kind of related. Is everybody all right? I know everything was scheduled for 7 o'clock, but traffic, rain, and His Excellency Badawi called me up and he wanted to chat. So, I mean, you know, I have to chat with him for 15, 20 minutes. He wants to tell me about his travels. Who did he meet recently? I forgot. I don't know, he wanted to meet somebody, wanted me to come along, but I said I don't have time. And then after that, who called me? Was it the Interior Minister? I can't remember. Anyway, some of these bigwigs called me, you know. Of course, they don't have my direct line. They had to go through somebody. Okay, and as usual, some of you are very new. And I am a Tibetan teacher of Tibetan origin. I'm from Ganden Monastery. And I've been in and out of Malaysia in this wonderful host country since 1992. So that's going over, what, 13 years, is it? 14 years. So I've been coming in and out, and I have a lot of friends that travel all over Malaysia, but I've decided to make Kuala Lumpur my headquarters because I like the Twin Towers, and I thought if I do prayers and stuff, it will protect it. Mr. Ngao requested me to do that. So once a year, I go down to Twin Towers and do my Bomo thing. I take some Tibetan yak hair and throw it on the Twin Towers and say, let it remain here 1,000 years. And I even get an ang pao sometimes. They throw, I have a guitar case, they throw coins at me when I'm standing out there in front of KLCC, an empty guitar case. That's right, that I borrowed from Andy. Okay, now, so what happens is this is, I'm not a Bomo, but I do accept money. I am not the highest Lama, but somewhere around 2 or 3. In my imagination, remember? I do speak Tibetan, but poorly. I learned English on the back of a bus and from Madame Chua's English Institute. Otherwise, when I first landed here, I didn't know one word of English. Isn't that amazing? Aren't you guys impressed? Not one word of English, I just came out and just went, aww. They asked me, are you hungry? Aww. So I did, I just learned, so that proves to you that I'm a Rinpoche. It's amazing. And let me see what else. And I went to study in the monasteries, and I finished my studies within 3 months. The other monks took about 20 years. Well, I did a retreat, they didn't. All right, and let me see, what else do you need to know about my humble background? Let me see. After this, I'm going to fly. I have a helicopter waiting on top in case you guys can see. Andy Lau has sent his helicopter. He needs to have a divination done. He needs to know if this year he should have blonde hair or dark hair again. The last time he went blonde, I was, I told him better feng shui this year. So after this, I have to fly off. Don't you guys interrupt me. No interviews, no blessings, no nothing. I have to fly off the helicopter. If you hear any noises or anything, that's me flying off. If you don't, get a hearing aid. Now let me see. Anything else? Okay, so I've been here a long time. This center has been here since 2003, correct? 2002? I forgot. 2004. All right. And this is 2006, so we're quite old. I gather here once in a while to give Dharma talks, and if you sign up by SMS or email, then the hardworking, wonderful staff and volunteers here will definitely let you know. Sometimes our teaching is a little long, sometimes a little short, sometimes it's on this subject, that subject. But my purpose of giving the teachings is informal, in order that all of you can get knowledge. And I wish I can speak Chinese, but I don't. And I'm regretful of that, because everybody deserves the Dharma. So I speak in English, and then it will be put on DVDs, and they will be translated into Chinese subtitles eventually. All right, so that's in the process. And again, my purpose is what? Is to give you knowledge. Okay, give you knowledge. That's the most important thing. Now, in ordinary life, we like to keep some type of memorabilia. We like to keep some kind of small keepsake or a scrapbook. Or if we're in the financial capacity, we like to sometimes also go to auctions and buy items that belong to past leaders, or historical items, or that belong to movie stars, or someone that was in the limelight, or some celebrity. And people will go to great lengths, and they will pay a lot of money for items like that. Why is that? Because that particular star, that particular era, that particular history, or that particular person has something to do with something in their life during their lifetime. So when they think about that person, it gives them some association to some point in their life that could have been down and that movie helped them, or that they could have been very happy and they relate that time with that era, with that person, with that music, or with that movie. So therefore, we get these memorabilia. It kind of taps into our memories, into a safe place in our minds that remind us of some wonderful, poignant, personal history. And so therefore, people are willing to preserve that in any way, shape, form, because as you know, memory is non-tangible, formless, tasteless, and colorless, non-perceivable with the naked eye. So therefore, when we think of these people or this part in history or something that has to do with it, it brings back some kind of memory, appreciation, and it goes back to something sacred in our own minds. And therefore, with some people who are in the financial means, they'll even buy antiques and historical objects, or they go to see historical places, or they go to places that was associated with something of a great event, whether it was tragedy, to remember people's pain and to appreciate what we have, or to remember something beautiful. So therefore, people always have had monuments. People always have had something to remember a tragedy or something beautiful. Monuments are international, intercultural, and throughout the world, every culture, even the most primitive, inverted commas, cultures, will have even stones or totems marking a certain area that has some significance for them. So therefore, there's nothing new in that, and that is a historical or emotional pilgrimage place for many people. So like that, something even more precious, something even more higher, something that's even much more sacred, that is the transformation of the mind. The transformation of the mind is the most sacred activity and the most sacred practice that we can ever engage in this life. And let me explain why in brief. It is the most sacred is because through the transformation of the mind, we can change everything that's not changeable. We can transform everything that's not transformable. And we can convert all negative situations into something that is bearable. And that all comes around by transformation of the mind. So therefore, the holders of the transformative powers of the mind, the knowledge, the holders of the knowledge of the transformative powers of the mind are the religious leaders and the religious teachers of the world, whatever religion they might be from. All religions have transformative techniques for the mind if we decide to dwell and engage and actually practice. And if we dwell, engage, and practice, there will actually be results. Which transformative method we wish to engage in is totally human freedom, human intelligence, logic, and aptitude, culture, background, and necessity. So therefore, for some of us, the Buddhist religion will be very suitable. And within the Buddhist religion, there are many schools. There are many schools not because, contrary to what other people say, or some ignorant people say, that one is better than the other, one is superior than the other. It is because there are many aptitudes within people's minds. Because there are many, many aptitudes, there must be different types of Buddhist schools and why? Different types of approaches. And hence, because there are different schools of Tibetan Buddhism, there are different organizations, there are different centers, there are different lamas, there are different teachers, and there are different groups. And each group will have similar practices, but there'll also be some differences. The differences for ignorant people, they dwell on and they look at because they're used to looking at things from a narrow point of view. But for people who can think wider, there is no difference. There is no difference at all. So therefore, there is no difference between centers. There is no difference between lineage. There is no difference between the schools of Buddhism. And we shouldn't make a difference. But what's very important is that we find the religion that suits us. Be it Buddhism, be it Christianity, be it Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism, Islam, Judaism. We find the one that suits us without prejudice and bias, and not entering out of fear or to be bribed into it because we were getting a scholarship and therefore we're Buddhists now. No, not from bribery, not from scare tactics, not any of that, but from pure need and necessity, and also how that faith will fit us. And in this beautiful democratic land, we have that opportunity. And the government here is very kind. they give us that wonderful opportunity. Wonderful opportunity. And the Muslim government of this country are real Muslims, because that's what it's about. As far as my limited understanding of a great path as Islam is open to everyone. It's your choice. And that's what we have here. So we should take full advantage of it, meaning we should become the best religious practitioners that we can be, whatever religion we choose in this country. And add to society, add to the country, add to the government, and from here add to the world to become a better person. What method or what transformative technique you decide to engage in to achieve that doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? In the end, when you're transformed, the end result is the same. So whether you run on a country road, whether you run on the pavement, whether you run on tracks, whether you run in a stadium, wherever you run, it doesn't matter. But if you become slim, you become fit, and your heart is very fit, you've got the purpose of running. So to debate and argue about the track or the type of running that you like to do, and to argue and go into fighting and discussion and putting other centers and other people and other techniques down because of the method is absolutely not beneficial. Why? We're all working together. So if we cut one finger off, another finger off, there's only 3 fingers left to work. Wouldn't it be better if 3 fingers come? For example, I am not so illogical and arrogant to think that our center can be the only place for everyone. I am not able to think that this center is able to provide everything for everyone. And it doesn't provide, no other center is good. No other place is good. That only my center is the best. My center suits everybody. Even if my center is the best, how can it cater to the millions and millions of people in the city alone? So wouldn't it behoove us and make me happy and rejoice if other religious centers open? And if I may use this example, other Dharma centers open, other Dharma centers flourish, other Dharma centers grow, other Dharma centers do well. Why? How can me, one person, and my little group of people take care of millions and millions of people if they decide to come in here? So wouldn't it be better to disperse everyone? Wouldn't it be better to disperse? Some people go to this center, 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 and people go to different centers in different places and learn different techniques, but achieve the same goal. So it's very, very much more positive, much more human and ethical and religious if we do it that way. It's ethical, it's human, and it's real religion if we do that. We respect each other's centers. We encourage each other's centers. That's what I do when other centers are having events and stuff. I often buy their tickets. I often donate to them many, many times. And then sometimes I even ask some of my students to participate in their activities to go and give support, always. Whether they do that for us or not, it doesn't matter. Why? We shouldn't think they didn't do for us, we do for them. We're trying to become a Buddha. So if they're not a Buddha, doesn't mean we won't be a Buddha. We're trying to become a Buddha. So it doesn't matter. And so what we have in our center, we have the whole very sacred, we have the whole well. But I do encourage people to stick to one center. And I follow that along the rules of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who asked us to stick to one lineage when he gave teachings in London many years ago. Respect all, follow one. So we should stick to one center, we should stick to one teacher, we should stick to one practice. Why is that? I mean, when we have confirmed. Before that, we have to shop around. There are the Rinpoches out there. There are the Geshes and Masters out there. No problem. I don't feel insecure. Let me tell you a little deep down secret. If you run off, you don't come and hang out with me, I'm happy. Do you know why? I'll still get food, and I'll still be taken care of whether there's 100, 200, 3,000 people. No problem. Just kidding. My point is why? I'm not insecure about that because there's no way I can take care of millions of people. There's no way I can take care of every single person in the city. Another Dharma center opens, I'm very happy. Another Dharma center starts, I'm very happy. In this city alone, I'm the indirect cause of 3 other Dharma centers to open. Indirect and direct cause of other centers to open. Because I've been here since '92. In Singapore, I'm the direct cause of 2 other centers to open. Oh, Malaysia, I'm sorry, 4. 4 centers open. Direct. So I'm very, very happy. And I will open more centers in the future and offer to the monastery or start off for other people and just disappear. Why? I'm not in any competition. So our center I decide, because I need a place to teach, I need a legal place to teach, I need a place that follows and conforms to the rules of this great country, which must be licensed, so I have a center. Otherwise, we've been running around for different people's apartments giving teachings for years, like a bunch of Dharma gypsies. But I didn't wear a bandana like Gimli. No. I just ran around, no bandana this time. Gimli's very fashionable. Sometimes she changed from bandana to a hairnet. I don't know, I think her previous life was a Mexican who was from Los Angeles, who lived in the Monterey suburbs or something, and worked in McDonald's. They used to make us wear hairnets when we worked in McDonald's so we don't get hair into the food. We need to tell Chow that, because Chow will give me lunch with hair mixed in. I don't know, blessed. Today he gave me oats, and had my last spoon when I eat it. Flavor. Delicious hair. It was about that long. So it's either from there or here, must be from here. I don't know where it could be from. That's right. I've grown to love hair. I've grown to use it as seasoning and to just flavor food because I don't really have a choice. So what you can adapt, what you can't change, you just adapt. So these days, if I don't have hair in my food, I kind of make noise. Where's the hair? All right, so therefore, inter-center harmony is very important, and I gave a talk on that, and it's written on the website, and I'm going to be making a book about it in the future. Why? Buddhism is pioneering out to many countries and many places, and Tibetan Buddhists, especially when they go to different countries, different places, they usually show up with a suitcase. They're refugees. They don't have anything. They don't have a central church like other organizations may have. And they go in there and they buy, they build, and invest, they grow, and then people move in, and then they start raising funds to recover. It's not like that. With Tibetan Buddhism, it's begging from beginning, middle, and end. I mean, Lord Buddha has a begging bowl. He instructed us to beg. So for Tibetan Buddhism, it's a very hard challenge because it isn't just sitting on the throne and teaching. If you see a Dharma center, if you see a Dharma place, it's a lot of struggle, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of donations, a lot of convincing. Otherwise, it's not easy at all. So therefore, for Tibetan Buddhism, it is from point one, begging. It is from point one, asking and relying on people's kindness. Time, energy, knowledge, contribution, funds, ideas and plans, it totally depends on others. So therefore, every Buddhist organization will have a lot of fundraising activities, not because they're always looking for money, because they're looking to expand to benefit more people. Therefore, when they're looking to benefit and expand to help other people, where else do you expect the funds to come? In Buddhism, we don't have a tradition like the Holy Church of Christ, Christian church, where they pass the basket around. It's a given thing and it's accepted. But imagine people come here on Sunday Manjushri class, you get a bucket passed around, put it in there because the basket, we're greedy. So imagine they get a bucket passed around, or during this talk that unknowingly people are passing baskets. And then some people are, instead of passing, they no, nobody would do that. I'm just kidding. But you think about where else does the funds come from? Do you think people just show up and just give you $10 million? It's not that easy. Okay? And so what happens is this: how does Buddhism survive? How does the bills get paid? How do the floors get put in? I mean, do you want us to have a teaching in a tent outside? It's fine in Tibet because it's nice and cooling. You can see the beautiful view. Not around here. Not around here. Especially not in Kamandu. If you don't have a tent, the crows will get you. A lot of crows, let me tell you. I don't drive down that area. I don't walk around that area without an umbrella. Because I don't know. I'm allergic to crow poo. I don't know if you guys are, but I am. Kind of. And I don't feel beautiful anymore after that. And it's rare I feel beautiful. So anyways, these days. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, I think we put it on now. Thanks. So where does Buddhism get these funds from? They rely on people with ideas. They rely on people that are charitable. It isn't just a matter of people saying, well, I don't have $500,000, I don't have $50,000, I don't have $10,000, I have $2,000 to donate to you. Whether they do or not, it doesn't matter. I don't have that to donate to you. Fine. That's why Buddhist charities have to do all types of things. Example, our expansion committee here is doing a din-din soon. And I took a quick look at it. They're doing a din-din very soon. And they have all kinds of plates and all kinds of maps in here and in different ranges. I mean, they have $25 plates, they have $50 plates, right? Somebody? They have $75. I mean, everybody can afford $25 to show up and have a nyonya dinner. I'm sure Mama Jenny's gonna buy one to go for dinner, right, Mama Jenny? Right? Yes, you're gonna buy a din din for you and Uncle Edie and go for din din. Right? That's right. Mama Jenny is notorious for being generous, notorious. So everybody can buy a little din din thing and go have dinner. What's $25? Come on, we go to McDonald's with our friends, with our kids, with our little monsters, and this can open up the diamond. Look at some of you. Some of you don't need to eat for a little while. I mean, don't eat from now till then, and then eat, enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? Some of us really, we should save $25 a day on food. So, what's my point? These are little ideas and little sensors that. So when we see these things, we should think, ugh, another charity, another fundraising. What do you expect Buddhist people to do? This is what Buddha started. So if you have any qualms, write in the complaint box and put it under Buddha. I mean, really, this is not started by Tibetans or Thais or Cambodian Buddhists or Malaysian Buddhists. It's started by Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha left the palace, left his gorgeous wife, all right, left his fabulous son, left his kingdom, left his food, left his dancing girls, and stupid. He left everything. He left his palace, the charioteers, the beautiful water. I mean, you saw Keanu Reeves. He looked great too. How did Keanu look after he shaved off his hair? Not too cute. All right, and he had great clothes. He had a great body. He was slim, and you know, even the word death and sickness was not allowed to be past the Lord Buddha's ears. He left everything. He just left with his charioteer, Chanda, and left the palace and gave up everything. This great Indian, fabulous, gorgeous Bollywood prince. But they was known to be beautiful. You all know Indian people, you've seen those Bollywood pictures. They're fabulous, they're gorgeous, not as beautiful as me, but they're pretty good. You've seen them. They're tall, they're dark, they're handsome, they're wow. And Buddha was one of them. Can you imagine him? He shaved off his hair, gave up everything, and stopped exercising, stopped doing everything, and no more bubbly, nothing. For some of you who don't know what bubbly is, ask your parents how you came to the world and you know what bubbly is. Right? I know in Malaysia you don't talk about the birds and the bees. In Tibet we talk about the yaks and the donkeys, but anyway, same thing. So if you don't know about the birds and the bees or the yak and the donkeys, ask your parents. If they're too shy, tell them to write it down. Alright? So in any case, he gave up everything. Gave up bubbly, gave up fun, he gave up his position, and he ran into the forest and wore horse clothes, shaved off his hair. And then he took the begging bowl. What's a begging bowl mean? From now on, I'm going to be a parasite of society. No, from now on, I will not be attached to my wealth. I will not be attached to my livelihood. I will not be attached to things that bring me more suffering for others than myself. And I will leave that as an example. So when he took ordination and he took the begging bowl, he was letting us know begging is supreme. Why? Because it makes your pride go down. It makes your ego go down. It makes you humble yourself to other people. And it makes you at the mercy of different types of personalities and different types of people. Why would you want to be at their mercy? You're at their mercy because you have a big ego. Because you're not happy with this. You need to have things this way. You need to have things that way. You need to be this way. You need to be that way. Things must be this way. They said this, I'm not happy. They did that to me, I'm not happy. So I'm allowed to show them a black face and fold my hands. Well, you're unhappy. You're unhappy because your mind has not changed. Where are we going to go on this planet that everybody's perfect, happy, nice, without mistakes? Where? So if we always complain, this is not right, that's not right, it's like this, it's like that, they're like this, they did this to me, their attitude is like, the country's like this, their laws like, if we think like that, nothing will be settled. I'm not saying that outside problems don't exist. I'm saying how we take them. We can choose to make them even more negative and add more negative to it and then make everybody around us unhappy, then we're part of the problem, aren't we? Or we can choose to have a different perspective of the problems. And so therefore, when in spiritual practice, in any of the great faiths of the world, but let me go back to Buddhism, this is what we're talking about now. When we have correct study, when we have correct understanding, when we have correct meditation meaning contemplation, you will see your mind change. You will see your unsettledness change. You will see your unhappiness change, your anger change, and all the qualities in you that can stop you from being the better person that you are will change. When that changes, everything around you changes. Why does everything around you change when that change? Because how you react is, you're saying it's based on how other people react. Well, other people will react based on how you react also. So people say, well, you're the enemy. You'll say they're the enemy, and everybody's pointing at everybody and doesn't stop. So why should we stop? Why should we be the extra saint? Why should we be the better person? Because we have heard the Dharma. Because we have heard a new perspective. Because we have more education. An educated person who's got a PhD degree or MA degree, they're sitting on the floor, picking their nose, playing with their feet, rude, and burping and farting away. Well, what's the point of the education? So if that person's so educated, has got a PhD, and they're sitting there doing that, and they're arguing, they're playing with kids, and they're fighting over or whatever, you say, what? I thought they're cultured and educated. Similarly, if you engage in spiritual practice, you must be more courageous. You must be more patient. You must be more generous. You must be more stable. You must be more forgiving and understanding, and you must be more enthusiastic and stable in what you do. Not do it for a little while and run off, little while, run off, little while, run off, little while, run off. Why? It's detrimental to yourself. Why is it detrimental to yourself? Never mind what people say, oh, he's so unstable, he just does it for a while, gets bored and runs off. Who cares what people say, but you are a detriment to yourself, because if you have that type of attitude, you will exert that attitude for everything and anything. So what can be accomplished with that type of attitude? So therefore, we must be more kind. We must be more forgiving. We must be more patient. Why do we must be more patient? A, we know what causes unhappiness. This is not scolding. I want you to think, because this is what I think about during the day. I can only talk to you if I think about this. And I received this from great masters like His Holiness in the Mind Transformation teachings. So I'm not making this up. I dare not. I dare not. So when I tell you this, please don't think it's criticism or I'm pointing at you or I'm taking examples. I am not. I'm giving you general teachings that apply to us because we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same situation. Think. So therefore, since we're in spiritual practice, we need to be more patient, more kind, more forgiving. We need to be more stable. Why? Because we know the value of spiritual practice. When we know the value of spiritual practice, we have to be double what other people who don't know what spiritual practice is. Like that, if we're a mother and we have kids, we can't act like a teenage girl anymore. If we're a father and we're married, if we're a married man and we're running around having a good time, not taking care of responsibilities, borrowing money, having a good time, laughing and joking, going to and just wasting time. But if we're married, we can't be like acting like we're not married anymore. Why? Because we're married now. There's responsibility. So if we have a business, if we have work, we need to be different. Why? In order for the business to produce results. So for business, for motherhood, for bachelor to married man, in any situation you say, if you are still acting like you were before you became married, before you had business, or before you met the Dharma, then you're wrong. I'm wrong. Not other people. Why? We chose to take refuge. We chose to open the business. We chose to have children or get married. We chose that. Since we chose that, instead of blaming the other person, we need to take responsibility. Similarly, for committee people, you were picked by etc. So if there are activities and meetings, you should choose to show up, not choose not to show up. Why? You took refuge. You made commitments. So we shouldn't be pushed from behind. We should push ourselves. When we push ourselves, we can inspire other people. So for business, for marriage, for Dharma practice, we have to be double, triple, quadruple more than the other person. So if the other person scorns us, we must not react back, even though we're very angry, because the anger will go away. The person will go away. Everything will go away. Everything will go away. So therefore, we must be double, because we chose it. If we want to be a Christian and wear a holy cross, if we want to be a Buddhist and wear a holy Buddha, then we have to reflect what we're wearing. And what does this symbol represent? The cross, the Buddha, the Star of David. What does it represent? It represents we have accepted that we must fight and battle and go along the journey of becoming a better person. So if we choose to wear something so holy, we have to make it holy. Why? How can we make it holy? We have to make it holy with ourselves. So therefore, if we belong to a center, or we work for a center, we work for a business, I mean, even in England, they have finishing schools. They have schools there where people go for finishing courses where they get polished, how to eat, how to dress, how to talk, how to move, how not to spit while you're eating. They have finishing schools. Why? Because outer mannerism is very important. Very important. Why is it important? That's what people are attached on. They look at your outer mannerism to do a quick judgment of your inner state of mind. So if you dress sloppy, you look sloppy, and you're smelly, you're ungroomed, and you want people to respect you, how will they respect you? They can't open you up and see what you are inside. If you're unstable and you jump around and sometimes you do, sometimes you don't do, sometimes you're in the mood, sometimes you're not in the mood, sometimes you give up, sometimes you don't give up, sometimes you're very excited, sometimes you're not very excited, and you're in, out, how do you expect people to respect you? How do you expect yourself to respect yourself? How? If you're doing business and you can't you can't subdue your own mind in business. I mean, all of us, some of us, we have anger, we're frustrated with people, we're impatient, but we're in business, in work, in office and job, we can't show it. Why? Because then we won't get business. So why would we show it in Dharma practice? Why in Dharma we can be extra bitchy? The Dharma, why? How come we can be extra difficult and extra, why are they not nice to me? Why? Well, another person can have a bigger fist and say, why aren't you nice to me? Right? There's a lot of people with big fists, big ones. You see Crystal, big fist. That's okay. She's a lady, but she's got a big fist because it inflates. The blood rushes there. Therefore, if we're going to get married, don't be irresponsible. Don't make your husband suffer. Don't make your wife suffer. Don't act like you were before you were married. Bring the bread home. Take care of your husband, take care of your wife, respect each other. If in the past you like to fart and sit around and be smelly, and well, if you're married and your wife is a human being and you're a pig, well, then don't get married, because humans and animals can't live along, right? So if you sit there with your wife and she's all beautiful and nice and clean, she's groomed, you come home, she's all ready for you, and you come home looking like a pig and you're smelly and you're sweaty and you're dirty, I already told you, animals and humans are not supposed to get married. That's it. So say, well, it was okay before. Yeah, it was okay before, but now you're married. Now you have a relationship. Now you're living with your lover, your friend, your wife, your husband, or in between, or whatever. You're married. So if you don't want to conform, why would you want to get married? Same thing. That goes for the husband and wife, backwards and forwards. So the wife is very into money. Give me money, give me money, 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 oh money, money. And the wife is always talking about money. What about the kids? What about college? What about me? What about my diamond ring? What about my hair? I need $45,000 a week to maintain my lifestyle. Well, look, if you chose a husband who's a Dharma bum, or a beach bum, or someone whose previous life is a reincarnation of Milarepa, and they want to hang out in the cave, don't marry the guy. Be realistic. But once you marry the guy, you say, look, the guy tells you, look, I can't make $45,000 a week, but don't you love me? And what about our kids? Look, family planning. Very simple. Why make the kids and then complain? Think about it beforehand. Family planning. I'm not Catholic. Family planning. So, what happens? When you have that and when the kids come out, and they're absolute horrible little nasty big mouth monsters, you're stuck. So then you don't complain. What do? You put the kid back up in? Go back in. Go back into mama. You know what? Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Imagine somebody being put back inside Mama. Go back in. Look at Koki, this thing. All right, Mama, put back in. Mama's like, no thanks. I mean, don't have the kid. What's my point here is your perception must change. Your perception. Think deep. I'm giving you ancient scriptures that are over 2,500 years old, 2,500 years old, 500 years old, in your language, in your example, in your modern day thinking. I did study of Buddhism for over 25 years, under 14 masters. So I am giving you my blood, sweat, and tears of 25 years of study under holy masters and serving them, living in centers in the monastery, under extreme harsh conditions. I've learned all this. So I'm not saying go over there, Gandhi, and hang out like I did. I'm bringing Gandhi here to you. Aircon, marble floor, and beautiful. What else do you want? You want a 125-year-old Rinpoche who's struggling to stay awake, and then there's 2 translators? And after they translate, they tell you, oh, I said it wrong, let me tell you again. You see, I mean, do you want a 125-year-old Rinpoche that sits there, panting away? No disrespect, and saying like, and then the translator up there, excuse me, and you're like, I'd be at home watching a DVD of Kundun or that little Buddha instead, right? No translators. No 120-year-old Rinpoche that weighs 102 kg. You got me. I'm the Keanu Reeves of Tibetan. Keanu Reeves. People have said to me, are you Keanu? I said, no. Stop it. Or sometimes they mistaken me for Dalai Lama. I mean, excuse me. I'm like, yes. Are you the Dalai Lama? Taxis, the grocery store, cold storage, airport. I mean, it's getting a little annoying. And then when I go to Hong Kong and Japan, are you Keanu Reeves? No, I'm not Keanu Reeves. I mean, I'm getting a little tired. I want to be me. But anyway, let's not go off that. I bet you they get asked that too. Keanu Reeves, they ask, are you Tsem Rinpoche? They're like, who's that? I'm sure he gets asked that, and I'm sure he gets tired of it too. I was thinking about, having a little meeting with him, saying, how do we stop this? Maybe we can open a company, stars impersonators, so he can be impersonating Tsem Rinpoche, impersonate Keanu Reeves. What do you think about now? I think I'll stick to my job. I mean, isn't that annoying? One more time they tell me Keanu Reeves, and I'm going to have to really hold my patience because, I need to be better than them. But in any case, that's if so we want to be in Dharma, if we say, hey, if you have a Kuan Yin at home and you do this once a day, that's it. If you got a Tsongkhapa at home and you do this, that's it. If you're involved in the Dharma center, you're taking refuge, that's it. Why is it it? You have a special commitment because other people don't have that. How do you think Kuan Yin blesses you? Why do you put a statue, ceramic, whatever, Kuan Yin there, that you move once a year because you're afraid to touch it? Why? Why do you go to the Sikh temple? Why do you go to the mosque? Why do you go to the Buddhist temple? Why? Why do you go to the Hindu temple? You go there because it's a place of holiness. It reminds you of something very sacred. It reminds you of who you really are inside. So when you do this to Kuan Yin, it's a reminder of something sacred, because we can't hang out at the temple every day, can we? So when we have holy Kuan Yin, or we have something religious, a religious icon of every religion in our house, when we see that, it reminds us to be different. It reminds us how to be different, to be extra patient, extra forgiving, extra loving, extra kind, extra tolerant. Immediately with who? With our husband or wives, with our parents, with our friends, with our siblings, with everybody around us. Why is that? Why else do you have religious icons? Why? How do you think religious icons activate their power? It's the individual. Use your logic. Debate logic. If it is not the individual activating the blessing of the icon, then there can only be one icon that's holy in the world, only blessed by one person. That means only icons, only items that was held and touched by Lord Buddha or Jesus Christ or Muhammad alone can give you blessings and power. Definitely they can give you blessings and power, but there are other people who followed in their footsteps who have reached high levels in their mind through prayer and meditation and practice, who also have tremendous blessings. So therefore, if religious items are only inherently, if they're inherently blessed on their own, then that means we don't need to do anything. Illogical. If religious items can only be holy according to one or two individuals, also not illogical. Why? Then it defeats the purpose of practice. In Buddhism, we achieve to be a Buddha. If we become a Buddha, we will be equal to Shakyamuni. Our blessing, our objects, everything will be exactly the same. So therefore, illogical. That's why I say we use logic in Gelugpa tradition. On top of that, if therefore it's none of the above two, they're both negated, they're none of the above two. That means all of us in this room have the power to bless and to have and to create holy objects. How is that possible? It is definitely possible. Why? If it is not possible, Lord Buddha would not have shown us 84,000 different teachings, 108 volumes of his teachings. We have 108 volumes of the spoken word of Buddha. It's called Kangyo, preserved. They're very big, one volume. Spoken teachings of Buddha. Spoken. Over 200 volumes of commentaries written by great masters of the past, commentating on those teachings, qualified masters, that are checked through scrutiny, debate, and through assembly of Sangha to make sure that it's clear. So you have 300 volumes here. So why would Buddha present 300 volumes, 100 and 200 indirectly, volumes of teachings, if he is not presenting the path to you to become a Buddha? So therefore, unlike Buddha doesn't teach you 108 volumes of creation, how man came on earth. Who cares? When the earth's going to be destroyed? You know, it was let me see, Afong, and then it was Abi, and they met and had Abu and Awu, and Awu and Abi married each other and had Awa, Iwi, Awu, Awa, and Chandra, that's this Malaysian lot, and Mohammed, and all these guys, again they had more, and here we are. Then we all should be Mongoloid. I mean, that's what happens, is how Mongoloids are created. We should be Mongoloid what? Okay, we don't talk about all that. It doesn't matter. Whether it's correct or not, it doesn't matter. Because we want to go on what transforms our mind. That's why Buddhism doesn't debate on that, doesn't worry about it. Doesn't even go to other religions to debate, oh, that's like that, it doesn't make sense. Why? It doesn't matter. So therefore, you may say it matters because it's the basis of your faith. But if the basis of your faith are stories, then the basis of your faith is very shallow, and therefore your faith will be shallow, and therefore you'll be very confrontational and very, very scared. And the basis of your faith is stories. If the basis of your faith is logic, examination, clarity, no matter what people say, black or white, yellow or purple, it doesn't bother you. Why? You know the truth. Whatever our kids tell us doesn't affect us. So I say, whatever. They're kids. Whatever they say, no offense. Similarly, when other people without knowledge, without study, without debate, without understanding, they blah, 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 blah. Okay. It doesn't bother you. It shouldn't bother you. Therefore, the Buddha has set out paths, 108 volumes. And within the Tibetan tradition, because of the proximity to India, because of the proximity, very close. Okay, we're not talking about trains and planes and helicopters like, that time nothing. Thousands and thousands of kilometers of barren land and danger and bandits and people who might rape me. I mean, imagine, from China, you go all the way to India, on the way you get raped 3 times, on the way you go come back, raped 3 times, and by the time you come back, I have that great fear of being raped, great fear. No way, no helicopter, I'm not going to India for no Dharma, thank you very much. Imagine little innocent Tsemtulku walking around getting raped. Big fear. You can keep your nasty thoughts to yourself. Some people think, who want to rape you? Evil. You're just jealous. So, what happened is proximity. Because of the proximity, it's very close to India, geographically. A lot of great Indian masters can come into Tibet, and a lot of great masters in Tibet, or masters to be, can go into India. China was farther, Thailand was farther, Korea was farther, Japan was very far. So Japan and Korea and all these countries, they had to get it from China. China had to get it, some was from Tibet, and some were from India directly. But for Indian masters to travel to China was very difficult at that time, not because they weren't compassionate, it was logistically almost impossible. Take years to get across. So Tibet had the advantage. Therefore, in Tibetan tradition, you have the Hinayana, Mahayana, and Tantrayana all intact. And I quote directly from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. It is complete. Complete. So therefore, all these practices that are complete, 108 spoken words of the Buddha, are for what? They are for you to learn, and you take the suitable, all? No. You take the suitable one that is appropriate for you. Either you have a spiritual teacher that checks you like a doctor and diagnoses you and gives you a prognosis and also gives you the remedy. Or you yourself are advanced that you can do it yourself. Up to you. Number one is more recommended. So therefore, when you learn these things, you start to transform. When you transform, when you engage in Dharma, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, it is a given you should transform. Why? Who goes to the gym 108 kgs and then leaves the gym 3 years later 108 kgs? What's the point? And then they want to be poster boy for the gym. Who? Nobody. Who goes to work with a loan of $5,000, $10,000, and they work for 5 years, 10 years, they still have a loan of $5,000, $10,000. The loan is nonstop. Who? So in regular life, right? In work, in normal situations, if there is no change in your situation that you have opted to go for, you have chosen to go into that, and there's no change, it's the same principle for spiritual practice, if all the not more. If you're 30-something plus years old, if you're 20-something plus years old, and you still require people to scold you and tell you off, and scold you and tell you off, and tell you and scold you again and again and again and again, A, you're retarded. I'm not being nasty. A, you're retarded. B, you're extremely selfish. Or C, you just don't care. I mean, it can only be these three. Okay, E, you're insane. What else can it be? So if you're working for 1 year, 2 years, and you have this loan, every year you work, your loan cannot become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you still depend on people, still need people, still give me this, give me that. Cannot be. Cannot be. Cannot be. So if you have children, your children grow up to be monsters, irresponsible, don't want to do this, don't want to do that, cannot take care of themselves, cannot man themselves. They cannot do all this. And then it gets worse and worse and worse. They maybe end up in jail. Well, what is that? It cannot be. So in normal life, in business, if every year, or in work, or in your career, every year your money is still getting worse and worse and worse and worse, it's a sign you're doing something wrong. So therefore, in spiritual practice, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. If you are sincere about your spiritual practice, either you're not doing your practice, or what Buddha taught you is wrong. I mean, it comes down to that, the showdown. Buddha's wrong, and if you have the nerve and audacity to actually make excuses of why you're not advancing in your spiritual practice, advancing in your personal life, advancing in your job, or advancing in your relationship, or advancing with your friendship or career, and you have the nerve to make a lot of excuses, they hold water for a short time. Afterwards, no one will believe. Why? Because you've been proven wrong 100 times, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times over by many other people who proved you wrong. So therefore, if we do spiritual practice and we have a certain difficulty in our mind, a certain affliction, that is the point of spiritual practice. So when we get up in the morning and before we go to work, or before we make breakfast for the kids, or before we do anything, if we go to the altar, we put fresh water for Kuan Yin or Lama Tsongkhapa, and we give a bow like this, immediately we should make a commitment that day. I will be extra patient, double. I'll be double tolerant. I'll be more kind to my husband. I will let my husband win. I will let my wife win. That's your commitment. If you don't do that, what is spiritual practice? Do you really think that spiritual practice is sitting in front of a statue and going to a temple and asking for money, a lottery, a relationship, or money? Do you really think that's spiritual practice? That is not spiritual practice. I'm sorry. I have to be very courageous to say this, because a lot of people say, no, that's not true. But I have to be courageous, and those people say that's not true, I can debate with them. praying for money and praying for career and praying for enemies and praying for love or praying for relationships is not spiritual practice. That's not the reason we have statues. That's not the reason we have prayers and mantras and rituals. That's not the reason the Quran exists. That's not the reason the Bible exists. That's not the reason. That's not the reason the sutras exist. Why? Because we can do all those things without those things. You think people didn't get married or have problems or didn't want love and all that stuff before Buddhism or before religion appeared in the world? Of course they did. People are people. 1 million years ago, 10,000 years ago. Heck, 6,000, 7,000 years ago, there was none of these religions. None of these holy beings had the karma to appear yet. Our karma to appear yet. So people had the same problems. What do you think? People lived in caves and that's it? No, they had the same problems, different environment. So therefore, when we have a particular problem, spiritual practice is to attack them. We know. Now let's be very honest with ourselves, please. All of you look inside. I didn't ask you to write on paper and flash or wear a t-shirt. All of us know our problem. Some of us have a lot of arrogance. Only I'm right. The arrogance comes from fear because we were told we were wrong before and we were embarrassed. Some of us have a lot of anger. We have a lot of anger because we're impatient at the way things should be, and it's not the way we think it should be. Some of us insist that things must be our way. Some of us, because we have fear, we fear that if it's not that way, it doesn't produce happiness. Some of us have a lot of greediness and miserliness, and we will not share, we will not help, we will not give, and we'll do anything we can to be manipulative with money and funds. Why? We feel that we have fear. We're not bad, we have fear. That if we don't have this money, I'm finished. People won't respect me. All my hard work was down there. Who's going to feed me? The fear is valid, but not to extremes. And some of us don't want to take responsibility. We want to lay around. We want other people to do things for us. Why? We have fear. Why are we irresponsible? Because deep down inside we know we can't do anything. We didn't study much. We don't have any skills. Not many people would respect us. And many years of my life have been wasted. So therefore, if I try to do something, I will fail. If I fail, I will be looked down upon even more. There's this fear. So better to be lazy, better to pretend I'm stupid, better to pretend I don't know. All of it arises from fear. Fear, it comes from fear. And some of us have to be very bitchy with people. They say something we don't like, we tell them off, we cut them off, we're impatient, we just, no, don't want. Why? We have fear. We have fear of loneliness. We have fear to be put down. We have fear that people will hurt us. And that fear is real. People do that. You're not wrong. But what I'm saying is, A, continue the way you're continuing. B, find a way out. So I choose B. And how do we find a way out? To change everybody around us? No. To tell everybody that you should be nice to me, it's bad karma, you're going to go to hell, God's going to hate you, Buddha doesn't like that, Buddha didn't teach that, to be all holier than thou. No, that doesn't work. People tell you go fly a kite. A. B, yourself. And it could be possible that some people around us never change no matter how much we change. But you know what happens? Even if they don't change, they don't have the power to make us unhappy or angry anymore. That's spiritual practice. Spiritual of the spirit. Spiritual practice is not looking for high Tibetan Lamas who have powers to give you divinations to tell you what to do with your life. That is just a side thing to help. Spiritual practice is not to go to a holy church and tell God, well, I want $1 million. That's not spiritual practice. Spiritual practice, the church, the synagogue, the temples, all of that is for the spirit. Is for the spirit. And that is not to say not to pursue your $1 million, not to have relationship. No. Have, pursue, do, but with ethics. With kindness. Without sneakiness. And if you do that in the beginning, I guarantee you it will be very hard. It'll be very hard. A, you're walking upriver, a torrential river. You're walking upriver of habits and other people. It's very hard. A torrential river, very strong, coming down like this, and you're trying to walk up this river. You'll fall down. You'll come up. You'll fall down. You'll grab something. You slowly have to climb up. But what's your choice? Slowly climb up or get taken down. And that's the choice. And you see, for some of you, and for all of you, or whatever, when I tell you the definition of spiritual practice, for some of you it would be very mind refreshing. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know why it makes sense? Because you're intelligent. And that's how Buddha taught us the teachings with our intelligence. Because you're intelligent, because you're smart. I'm not praising you. I'm not your backside. I'm telling you the truth. You're smart. You're educated. You made it this far in life without me. So definitely, you know, I didn't hold your hand since you were born until now. And some of you, I would have given you back to your mother, put it back inside. That's right. So, because you're smart and you're intelligent, you can go the next step. If you can raise kids, you can change your mind. If you can make money at a job, you can change your mind. If you can have a wife, you can change your mind. If you can have a husband, you can change your mind. And literally say, amen. That's right. You can change your mind because all those things are much more harder. Those deal with outer forces you can't deal with. Outer forces. You know, sometimes we go to a club, some of you, me, all I do is meditate. And you go to a club and you see an attractive individual. Okay, since the majority are this side, you see a beautiful girl. She's fabulous and wonderful. She's great. And she's natural. I have to slip that in because, you know, I've been watching Nip and Tuck. And this girl is like, wow, look at the hair, look at the curves. Well, if I can get her home and I can, you know, conquer her, then I'm going to be really happy. And you have all kinds of visualizations of what you do with her, get the ice cubes out and everything, you know? Some of you get the ice cube out, some of you get the mustard out, some of you get things out you don't want to know. And some people will get leather out. Things made of metal. Okay, and then after you take her home, you know, and the lights dim, you had a few drinks, and next day you wake up, she's a Pontiana. She wants to get married. She wants to have kids. She wants a relationship. She wants a conversation. Oh my God. She even wants a conversation. I mean, just get lost. Can you, the audacity of this girl, she wants conversation. I've already blessed her with my body. Why does she want conversation? She's a total Pontiana. That's our view, that's our mind. And some of these nice little girls, innocent, come from small towns like Ipoh and Penang, and they're saving it for the right guy. They go to these nasty clubs and they see these nice, tall, V-shaped, wonderful, no, not me, V-shaped, wonderful people, tall, dark, and handsome. And I'm not talking about Sing Piao's definition of tall, dark, and handsome. I'm talking about tall, dark, and handsome. That's right. And then they say, oh, this guy's my dream guy, he's fabulous, he's wonderful. You take him home, he's a loser. He's still living with mama. Mama's paying for his bills. Mama is paying for his car. Mama is doing his laundry. Mama is making his breakfast. And mama is giving him an allowance. And his mantra is not om mani padme, it's om mama okay. And you found out that, yes, he was not bad in, but he actually wants another mama. So you didn't take home a nice, gorgeous prince. What you took home was a big mama's boy. A big mama's boy who's actually an ogre. And you're like, ooh, why? And you know, Malaysia, it's a land that produces thousands of mama's boys. Thousands. I don't know what it is, because the mothers here are so nice. I'm not kidding. Thousands and thousands of mama's boys that these boys just are produced in mass. They're factories. And they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to eat, they don't know how to clean, they don't know how to work, they don't know how to do anything, but mama's gonna take care of them. And they're 35 years old, they still want to be breastfed. Mama! Malaysia, I'm not kidding. It's just a land of plenty, mama's boys. You know, the first time, when I met you the first time, I said, do you live with your mom? You said, yes. I go, oh. You know about that Dharma Center down the street, make a left, make a right, up the hill? Oh, mama's boys are scary. And I know a lot of women in here know what I'm talking about. They marry their mama's boy, they get involved with the mama's boy, and then they become mama. That's right. And that really happens. And then there's the, all right, let's be very democratic and fair. There's the Pontianaks who go home with another beautiful woman and they wake up with another Pontianak. Let's not go into more details, I think you can figure it out. And then there's mama's boys who meet other mama's boys. And they both think they're going to be each other's mama, but it turns out to be more than that. So that'll cover this side. See, our center's fabulous. Everybody's accepted. I am the way. I know. I'm so, I don't know what it is, I just have this evil, compassionate streak in me. And that's right, it's compassion laced with evil. I'm like kind of Kuan Yin with a mask on, you know. It's like a sitcom, they come in at the right time. Thank you very much. Can we get smaller cups? You know, my mouth's not that big. She thinks I'm David Lai. David Lai's got a new name, it's MG. You can ask him what that means. Not in my presence because I'm holy. Okay. So, yeah, that's the situation. You know, women out there, there's thousands and thousands of mamas. The chance of you finding a mama's boy as opposed to a grown adult is slim. Accept it. Just accept it. Men, the chances of you finding a princess that remains a princess is slim. They just sprout wings and hang around, you know, in cemeteries at night. Or beyond that, where you slow people. And then the mama's boys they both run back to mama. And the two Pontianaks, they separate, they fly and look for other victims, and they're just neck with their intestines hanging out. You guys understand? We gotta cover everybody. So, spiritual practice. You think about it. You think. Don't let me sit here and preach to you and say, oh, Rinpoche said so, that's the truth. No. You think about it. A, you have statues, you go to centers, you do prayers, you do meditations, you do study, you do reading, you attend courses so that you can get money, so that you can get relationship, you can get rich, and I'm a good Buddhist. Or, you're attending these to transform something in you that no one else could have transformed in your life. You think about that. And money, riches, relations, all that, it helps, but that's not the ultimate. It helps. I'm not denying that it helps. We all need that. We all need that. But, does that solve the problem? Has it solved the problem? Is your problem solved? Definitely not. I don't think anybody honestly can say it's solved. So therefore, choice B, spiritual practice is to give you a wonderful method. A wonderful method to help you to be accepting, to let go, to be less angersome, and therefore to create an environment around you with people who you meet. That is much more pleasant. And again, you ask yourself, why should I do it? It's unfair. It is unfair. You are right. But you know more. You understand more. Some of you say, I am a Buddhist. Some of you say, I'm taking refuge. What do you think refuge vows is all about? You're better than everybody else? No, refuge vows is you work harder than everybody else. What do you think getting baptized in a holy Christian church is about? Baptism is about you accepting Jesus Christ as your Savior. What happens now? He flies down and saves you, and you can run around doing anything you want? No. Accepting Jesus Christ as your Savior is to emulate His life and His compassion and His love. So when you're baptized, from then on you are supposed to emulate someone holy. That's what Christianity is about, to emulate. So you're baptized is to say, hey, Christianity has baptism, Buddhism has refuge. It's the same thing. It is a self-acknowledgement of a higher force in you that exists outside to tap into. So if we get Kuan Yin statues and pray for this, and we get Setrap statues, pray for this, and we don't get it, and say, oh, forget it, let's move on to another religion. It's not a buffet. It's not like from Shangri-La we go to Regency Hotel. It's not a buffet. It takes time. Why does it take time? Because your mind took many years to form the way it is. Your mind took many years to form the way it is. So therefore, it's going to take some years to transform it. Be kind to yourself and be patient. You don't run around and say, slap on, I'm going to be kind to myself, I need to take that out on you. No, not like that. Only I can do that, not everybody else. No, that's not the key here. The key is what? Be kind to yourself means if you apply that more and more and more, this kind of perspective, you will see your mind change. It will not be quick. It will not be fast, but it will be. Why? You're intelligent. You're intelligent. Buddha walked for 7 weeks in Bodh Gaya after enlightenment, contemplating whether he should teach the Dharma or not. The spot is marked. Those of you who've gone to Bodh Gaya, a lot of us have. The spot is marked where he walked back and forth and contemplated whether he should teach the doctrine of Buddha, because it's very hard for people to understand. Why? It would be a very big uphill climb for many. But out of his compassion, he decided to teach. And so therefore, now you think, what is the sutras about? What is the Kangyur about? Kangyur is the spoken teachings of Buddhas. What is, okay, condense that, it's a Lamrim. What is that all about? What is that all about? Is that about getting a statue, getting an image, and then you just pray to that and you're spiritual and you pray for wealth? That's part of it. You can do that because they can't affect your destiny. They can. But temporary only if you apply for temporary methods. If you only apply temporary methods. So therefore, if you apply ultimate methods and you use the Buddhas, Kuan Yin, the scriptures, or whatever, for higher purposes, for study and to absorb a different perspective and method, you will see spiritual transformation. So don't let your spiritual practice be about having a great house, great decor, great statues, great paintings around, and look, I'm a great Buddhist, and have magazines come take pictures of you. That's wonderful, but it doesn't stop there. You must go deeper. You must go deeper. So if we live together, tolerant, it will be much more different. It is not about you being right or wrong. It is not. So we maintain and take care of the center. We donate and we help and we give our time and energy for the center out of great compassion for spiritual infants. That's why we support the center, out of compassion, because it can benefit others. So when we're new, or when we've been in it for a while but we still need help, we need a crutch, we need support. That's what a center is about. That's what the center is all about, is that. But we shouldn't go with the attitude, you support me, I don't have to support you. You be nice to me, I don't have to be nice to you. No. When we enter these holy grounds, when we enter the door, why is it holy? No offense, it's not because of this, or this. It's holy because we are making it holy by talking about something holy. What is that? Compassion, tolerance, and patience. You and I are making it holy. That's how a place becomes holy. You think about that. So therefore, we support such a place, and we fervently and with a lot of effort help this place, fundraise or help whatever, for that reason. In Buddhism, for that reason. So therefore, when we have the support, we have the help, and it's organized and it's nice, it helps us to progress. Like a school that's very organized with good facilities. Much easier for your education. So we shouldn't come to a Dharma center, a Dharma organization, a Dharma department expecting them to take care of us. And that if they don't take care of us, I'm not going to do the work, I'm not going to help, I'm not going to donate. Why? They're the same as us. They have anger, they have jealousy, they have their problems, difficulties. Just because they're in Dharma doesn't mean they're saints, but they're trying their best. So instead of coming to them saying, you should treat me like this, you should be like this, you should be like that, we should treat them back like that. Why? Because they're one step ahead of us. They're actually in Dharma doing that work. We're not yet. So we should give Dharma workers, Dharma people support who really believe in Lord Buddha from their heart. And there are people out there who go beyond just simple belief. They have stopped chasing money. They have stopped chasing after relationships. They have stopped chasing after fulfillment. They have stopped chasing after food, entertainment, love. They have stopped chasing that. And what they chase for is spiritual development, to be an example to others, to work compassionately for others, to use their lives for meditation in order to fuel their perspective so it becomes wider and stronger. When their perspective becomes wider and stronger, they're able to help more and more and more. So meditation is used as a tool not to tap into deities to make money, but meditation is used to tap into the deity's blessings, the Yidam's blessings, in order that we can develop much wider scope of mind. When we develop a wider scope of mind, not only the people around us will be loved and cared for by us and feel it, but we will expand to many beings.